this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no
a
one.
second.
Oh, no.
We return to our planet. The High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. 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 I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching Septum Sin versus the World. I'm Septum Sin. Today, we're going to be talking about the Craiglon incident, Part 3. Now, this is the last of the Craiglon trilogy, which was put together during the pandemic by Joel Wynkoop. And company. So, a very interesting series indeed. This one, again, I will give you a disclaimer. I am an executive producer on this, so there may be a little bit of...
Sir, I'm afraid you've gone mad with power.
Of course I have. Have you ever tried going mad without power? It's boring. No one listens to you. Okay,
let's just be straight here. I'm not going to give this movie any more room than I've given the other two. And we're just going to get down to it and do another psychoanalysis of this film, complete the trilogy, and move on to different spaces.
I don't know what they have to say. It makes no difference anyway. Whatever it is, I'm against it. No matter what it is or who commenced it, I'm against it.
So, let's talk about the Craiglon incident, Part 3. DVD, again, fairly bare bones. I mean, I love that it has a good, pretty quality cover. I got some script pages for being, well, a backer and so on. And that's about it. There's a menu. No real special features. But I've gotten into the DVD production game lately, working with somebody to help work on a movie, and I'll admit, it's a lot harder to put features and everything on this than you would expect. You have to get a bigger size Blu-ray DVD. Sometimes you might have to do a double DVD release. It's a lot of work, so I can understand having it on there. Having a menu is kind of cool, though, because then you have something that you can click on, even if you don't have anything else. Would a trailer have been cool to have on there? Of course it would have. Would a commentary? Oh God, I'd love a commentary. But still, you get what you pay for. And that is the movie.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
So the plot's pretty simple. It's the last fight between Parsons and the Craiglon as they take on the Cromley to save the entirety of the multiverse. Yeah. Well, let's get into our review. So, the writing is pretty interesting. I like that there's not as much of a recap, or at least not done in the traditional sense. They get this kind of nexus of worlds going, which is their way of being able to explain, okay, this has been going on, this is what's there, we're going to catch each other up on things. I find that pretty original. I think my favorite recap, though, is in the second film. Not when they kind of replay part of the movie, but when they show that, like, person there with the buildings falling down. That was pretty cool. Now, I think that there's a lot more submitted films here, and I don't really know how to treat those writing-wise. I mean, did Joel Wynkoop write those scenes? Did he ask, hey, submit something with the Craiglon in it and I'll just work with it? What did he do with those scenes? I don't know.
I don't have facts to back this up.
This is where a commentary would be very useful, I think, in this whole deal. And of course, you know, battle scenes can go a little bit long, but after watching it for the third or fourth time, I didn't mind. I think they tended to work well. I didn't think that it dragged on quite as much as the original or the second film. And trust me, I had my worries when I saw that 2-hour tag on there. But last bit of writing, 3/4 of the movie before Dawes and Emil get in there. I'm sorry, but I love having Dawes and Emil in there. It's that trilogy of characters, and I kind of missed them. I was very happy when we finally got to them. Cats love to interrupt. But that's okay. I'm not cutting it out. We're going to do it live.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
But let's talk about the acting. Again, because you've got a lot of submitted material, acting can be kind of... But for the most part, it holds solid. I was pretty impressed that it did improve upon part 1, where you also had a greater grouping of submitted material. And let's talk production design, which I thought was leaps and bounds better than 2 and part 1. Especially in the special effects department. There were some pretty cool battles with the spaceships. You could see they were really working on their special effects work here. It's nothing that's going to be mind-blowing, but you know, as far as B films go, special effects is pretty good. Let's talk about sound. For the most part, I was happy with the sound. The same issue I had with this one is one I have with the second one, which is when the aliens disappear, that whole thing that goes on, that did bother me. It bothered me then, it bothers me now. Let me show you. You see, he kind of faked me out with that first one over in the park, but that second one, right back to the whole, don't wear headphones for the first one, don't wear headphones for the second and third one. You're better off not doing that.
Admiral, we have enemy ships in Sector 47. It's a trap.
But otherwise, pretty good. In my opinion, improvements all the way through. So, music. What can I say? I am kind of missing the Pandemonium Bureau's songs at the end. I don't know what happened, but the music does have a pretty cool Ed Wood space age vibe. Excuse you. You don't like my review? Well, tough. The music. It does have a pretty cool space age vibe to it. I really enjoyed it. It was well worth the time to listen to. I'm not sure it's something I would listen to on its own, but still very much well worth what I'm going into. So overall thoughts. This is a great improvement over the first and second parts. You can tell this was a labor of love, that even though it was done under great difficulty and sometimes duress, this truly did turn out to be an interesting trilogy. So that is the end of the first part of our psychoanalysis. For those of you who are used to this, you know I do these in 2 parts. Part 1, spoiler-free, mostly spoiler-free review. 2, heavy spoilers, because we're going to go through this bit by bit piece by piece until we get a thorough analysis. So, for those of you who don't want the film spoiled, go watch it, come back. For those of you who don't care, well, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. There's ninjas in them There's ninjas in them restrooms. But I'll be back. Stay away, you filthy ninjas. You're not taking what's mine. Oh, and we're back. Yes. So we're going to be doing another psychoanalysis for the Craiglon incident, part 3. Yes, we're starting with a friend of mine, Kyle Rappaport, who also has been in some other films that we've talked about, not in this level, but we have talked about in the past. He starts us off in this kind of sequence where he is up in the hills fighting the aliens. We get to see more of this type of thing as we go through the film. This time, though, it turns out to be a dream that he's waking up for. In a way, I'm kind of sad this is the last time we see him throughout. He would have been an interesting add-on later in the movie, but we'll talk about that. So, now we've talked about Kyle, let's talk about the Nexus. So, we get to see a lot of different versions of, well, Winecoop's character, Parsons, from different worlds, different names, they do different things. And I'm wondering if in the Nexus of Worlds, if these are different characters from Winecoop's films. I'm not gonna lie. My other film that I know him very well from is Clownado. Otherwise, I'm not sure. I watched another film, I watched The Connection, I believe, where he's playing a cop, which was really good, by the way. But I don't know. These could be different characters from movies. And Parsons does appear in another movie, which I'll have to check out later on. But, I don't know. The Nexus, it's a storage room, basically, painted white. I really do wish that they could have had, like, a little coffee room, maybe a little sofa. I mean, these guys are fighting aliens, for goodness sakes. Give them a nice rest. Give them a coffee or something, like an alien, like, coffee bong. I don't know. Whatever they do.
Oh, that's fantastic. How do you turn your face so red so fast?
Well, I need to see more of these films. That's essentially it. I'm definitely not done with Winecoop. That is to be certain. And then we move to the park not long afterwards. For a 2-hour film, this one does move pretty quickly into the action. He goes to this park, and it's got this really playful music, and the people bantering about. It's hilarious. The aliens run in. Actually, no, Parsons runs in, and he's like, "Get out!" And they run off. I love this. The only problem I had was the bait and switch that I had with the sound. I thought that they had fixed it because the sound... I'm going to play it again. This is the sound of the alien being destroyed here, and then I'll play it again not even long after in the next scene. I wish they had stuck with that kind of milder sound that you heard in the first clip, but it is what it is. I mean, again, I don't know what goes into all the effects. I'm learning. I'm trying to make my own short film, and that's going to be, I'm sure that's going to be much worse than what we're going to see here.
Sometimes that is better.
But we'll see how that goes. I swear, this cat. That's all right. So we get more combat sequences with the different versions of Parsons. And it feels like a end credit sequence at the end of part 2. Various shots, some of them losing, some of them winning. And this goes on for a little bit. First time, I admit I felt it dragged a little, but I'll admit, second, third, fourth, fifth time I watched this, it didn't bother me that much. I thought that the combat flowed much actually quicker than the past ones. I felt much more intertwined into this film. And I do love the cheesy effects. I think they get better every time. Every time. Showing a sequence of that now. So, this is kind of a fun scene at the end with an evil version of him in a car wash with kind of a weird lens angle that kind of twists it, I guess to show the twisted nature. It brings back a little something that you kind of had sort of addressed in part 2, but mostly addressed in part 1, where the aliens kind of take their form to take them over if they get within 6 feet, kind of a C-virus deal thing. And I wonder if this was supposed to be Wynkoop and his wife himself. Like, you know, the evil alien had taken over the actual director, and he's now strangling his wife at the car wash. I love that. So, I loved the interview segments with this dude. It was fun. It really was. I mean, I love this line.
Oh, yes, of course. Sometimes I lose my train of thought. One time I missed the train because I was looking at a girl.
I've had to grab that. It's just, to me, out of the two people that were there, one of them played by Lloyd Kaufman. This guy could have also easily been played by Lloyd Kaufman, but it was fine. This dude was perfect, excellent, really enjoyed this. It was right there. This is more interviews with aliens as they're attacking, and you hear the and the people yelling in the background. I just thought it was hilarious. And then we move to what's appeared to be I guess a con of some sort. I kind of miss cons. I would love to go back to convention one of these days. And the aliens come in, they start like attacking and shooting people, and Parsons comes in and doesn't save all of them, letting get disintegrated by that time, but he comes and saves some of them. So, you know, it's kind of fun. I enjoy it. I really like seeing the different scenes there, and it just kind of changes up the background. I mean, as the regulations get lifted, he's able to do a little bit more and have a little bit more fun. So then we see some more different footage of some alien attacks. And the reporting is kind of a buffer between the things. They're kind of interesting effects. I don't know how much of this was submitted, how much. There's some scenes obviously that our director is in, so I'm pretty sure those were not submitted. And we see the reporter there, and I don't know what it is about this reporting thing. I just keep thinking about the angry Asian murder hornets from Dustin Ferguson's movie. Maybe these are better. I don't know. The effects. That's what it reminds me of. And, you know, I forgot this the last 2 times I saw it, but this dude, I mean, my hat's off to Devo. So we come to this dude coming in and kind of sitting down at the TV, and he's trying to watch his Joel Wynkoop and Phil Herman marathon, which in this world there's lots of these movie marathons going on, which I guess if I was the one creating the world, that would be exactly what I would do. And this is where you've got a cameo by Lloyd Kaufman himself as Harry Scrotum. So was that written as his name, or did he pick that name? you know, it could go either way with Lloyd Kaufman. He brings a fun, manic energy to almost any project he takes a turn into. From what people have told me who have met him, he's a great individual. I missed a chance to interview him. Kind of sad about that. But maybe one of these days. He's still around. Maybe. But we cut to the female reporter on the scene. And one of my favorite lines in this movie, it has several lines I'm taking away. But let's listen.
Stupid pedestrians running out into traffic when there's a crosswalk not 10 feet down the road.
I mean, this stuff, and then they took this also in the second part where they just had somebody abruptly like run into a building, catch fire or something like that, just and start running, screaming into the street and get hit by a car. But the aliens do start attacking, and Parsons does come in to save it. I love the commentary that they do with the guy watching it. He's got his nunchucks out. I don't know why he has his nunchucks out. I guess because he wants to like play along as he's doing the film. I mean, these are actually real nunchucks, so I'm not going to try and swing them too wildly when it comes there. They've been using, I feel like, again, more of the direct versions of the reports, but as somebody who's actually practiced a little bit with this in all seriousness, the likelihood of, boom, hitting yourself in the head with this bad boy is pretty high. So even when you're doing this, you can hurt yourself. So be careful, kids. These are not toys. But there are toys that are nunchaku. Then you can hit yourself in the head with those all you want. They're like hollow plastic, so you know.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Oh, I am enjoying this scene.
Get on with it!
Maybe that's why I have memory problems. Nah. So where was I? Oh, yeah. So, Reporter and Parsons have a little moment, which is kind of cute there, and then, of course, he vanishes as they kiss. I really do love these kind of little romantic flourishes that he and his wife have. These are kind of neat little additions in the movie. I do like that. It's a sweet edge that you see. So then we have Major Duplose's end as he talks to his boss, and his boss insults him and then decides to use the vaporize button, gotta love that, to eliminate him. What is it with the cats today in my video? I'm not editing this out. I am not editing this out. You are not being edited out. You are not. You are going to behave. But it was an interesting scene. He was a character that was in it for a while, and it was kind of cool to see where he went. Because some of these characters kind of come and go, so many of them. It was good to see one of the side characters come and go as it went. Then we go to these people up in the mountains. These weekend warriors, so to speak. Because the militaries have been decimated, so they're going to take the fight to the aliens. And as we have learned early on, earthly firepower doesn't do crap to these aliens. They get no damage, and one shot from them takes most people out. This would have been great. You know, just stick in another photo of Kyle with his gun going through it, and there you go. It just, to me, it was an opportunity that could have been added there. There was an earlier scene with one that was pretty good as well, with one of the people kind of holed up in the ruins. One that also I thought was well done. I didn't want to forget that one entirely. Again, I like to group that in with these, even though he's not technically a weekend warrior. I kind of group those three together. That Kyle scene at the beginning, the guy with his pistol and shotgun, and that burned out, really cool looking place, and then of course the other people. I mean, it is there.
Right. This calls for immediate discussion.
It kind of reminds me of this film, which Independence Day, S at the end. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Maybe I'll talk about it one of these days. But that would mean I have to watch it 5 times in a row, and I don't know if I want to watch that film that many times.
It stinks.
So we have a couple of cool jokes in here. This whole Romulans from Krypton, but this time he kind of catches the error instead of them letting it slide and letting us tease it out later on. The nerd humor.
Oh, that was my stomach.
But, okay, whose stomach does that? Really? Whose stomach does that? Yeah. Okay, one more time.
Oh, that was my stomach.
Alrighty. So, again, we have a couple more insert jokes. Three Amigos, the whole Captain Kirk fight. I don't know, some of them, are any of them out in LA? I'm not sure. I mean, how close are they to that old set that he used to fight the reptilian at? You could almost have a scene over there, I would guess. I know that Sean Phillips is out that way. So, I mean, he couldn't be that far. But, maybe, I don't know, all these little things, all these little Easter eggs, and I know I haven't found them all. I found a number of them. I mean, I've had to watch this film a number of times, but I know I can't have found them all. So, commentary.
Hey! Shut up!
I'm going to talk, when the eventual Blu-ray trilogy arrives, there will be a commentary. And I will be there, watching and waiting. Okay, enough of that. And of course, I also realize that there are some mention of superheroes in this. They kind of leave out the ones from part 1 and 2. I loved it, especially the one in part 2. You get to see the guy with the glowing stick. And I would have loved to have seen him in that, seen a little bit more of that kind of action. You could have kind of broken up a little bit of it, maybe have one of them there, or maybe have him have some of his friends in there. That would be kind of cool. It's something that I did like, having the kind of superheroes involved in this universe. You even have one come in to fight at the end, but still. Now this scene here is interesting with the kind of horror movie aspect, with a really creepy clown doll looking thing, and I really liked it. And I like the kind of Christmas tree. I love the setting. That was beautiful. As far as horror movie magic, beautiful, man, beautiful. But they had the alien come in, and they thought it was Kane Hodder as a joke there, and then the alien ends up vaporizing everybody. There are two things I thought would be kind of funny. Wouldn't it be hilarious if under the costume you have an uncredited appearance by Kane Hodder? I like to believe that Kane Hodder and Judge Judy secretly play as the aliens in parts of this film.
I love it when a plan comes together.
I think there was also kind of a missed opportunity of having the evil clown monster come to life and take out the Cromley agent. It just would have been added an extra bit of to that particular scene. Still, I did love that. I did enjoy it. So, I thought we were kind of forgotten about our field agent, but she does get some action, and that is pretty cool. I am kind of sad we didn't get to see her character explored more. But she had this, she's Emil's sister. I mean, they could have had them meet maybe, or talk. I mean, they don't have to be directly there. I mean, they could do like her scene, his scene, like they've done before. It would have been kind of cool. I do kind of miss that. I mean, maybe they'll come back for a future thing and they'll have an elaboration on it. So, this newscast is on with all the multiverse in tow. And it's also quite fun. This is quite an enjoyable moment. I love the multiverse. All these different languages and so on. And it's always the same reporter that we've been dealing with throughout the entirety of it. He does a great job throughout this. And I love the captions that they put there. So, after some fights, we get a cool scene with multiple Parsons fighting alongside each other. And, yeah, it's kind of good. But, you know, I also thought it was interesting. I mean, you've got the Cromley shoot the green lasers, and the good guys shoot the blue lasers with the Craiglon. And if, you know, they disappear in a path of blue smoke, they're teleported. But if the Cromley get hit by the blue lasers, they disappear in blue smoke because they're disintegrated. Same thing. If the Cromley get hit with the green, or they go in green smoke, they teleport, and if they hit them,
Just get to the point.
they do this. But I always thought the blue lasers were the bad guys.
Buy all our playsets and toys!
Let me know in the comments below if you get that terrible reference. This is how old I am. So, I admit, the first time I kind of zoned out a little bit by this point. As I said, the first time through, the combat scenes did kind of drag, and it was just kind of like a little bit here, combat scene. A little bit here of arrest, combat scene. And when they killed him off, I kind of missed it, and then they moved forward. But after I saw it again, and I'll admit, I didn't see all of it together until I'd watched it for the 5th time. It was a really interesting scene, very effects heavy. They threw everything. I guess they said, what effects do I have in my production software? All of it! Toss it all in! Throw it in! And it does work here. It's very effects heavy. It blends in the chaos. And then this weird vampire woman head thing shoots him and kills him. Distorting the multiverse. So then we come to one of my biggest gripes with this movie. We are 3/4 of the way in a 2-hour movie, and now we're getting our 2 other characters. I love Dawes and Emil, and having them missing for 3/4 of the movie. It's sad. I feel like I missed something. But they make up for it greatly when they come in. Dawes and Emil are recruited by the aliens. Dawes is given these kind of superpowers where he's able to blast them. Emil is given this kind of hypersonic technology where he's able to do this, and he calls them, he calls it like, I am on Team Judge Judy, and it says, you could be Team Wapner, and he's like, I like Wapner, and I don't know, man. I love People's Court back in the day. It's sacrilege, I know, but I preferred Wapner to Judge Judy. It's just a preference thing.
I'll bite your legs off!
It could also be when I grew up. Maybe that's the case. But these are great. Emil brings in different superheroes, even brings back Major Tom from his floating tin can before it got disintegrated by the Cromley. You get to hear a little bit more that the Cromley were the ones that opened up the rift by shooting his ship. So it is kind of cool there. Maybe I didn't catch it on the first film, but this is why I finally got it, and it just clicked up here. Ooh. So after all of this is done, they have a big fight. They detonate the area. So this time when Parsons arrives, he's able to finish off what's left and then teleport back to take out the remaining aliens. So Parsons gets all of his powers taken away, all of his stuff. It's kind of funny. He's like, I'll be a superhero. And then they're gone. And even the stubble, which you can see when it's close up, but when you're farther away, you can't really even tell there's stubble there. And I think that's part of the joke. But it is great that he's able to hang up the phone. That is a great way of executing justice. And then they plot their celebration party in Vegas. Of course, having chocolate milk. Well, I will tell you, Parsons, I can definitely do one stronger. Tippy cow, baby. And there was actually a chocolate version of this. It got discontinued around the time of the pandemic, which is sad because this was really good. And it's kind of cool to see all of them there. The last time I saw a cool duder in Vegas in a movie was right here. And boy, was that fun. So I look forward to seeing some sort of sequel or maybe even an offshoot with our three getting together in Vegas and having some adventures, dodging the survivors of the Cromley, the werewolves, the scarecrows, and all the monsters. I think it would be great. Pair it up, get like a crossover with Full Moon. The Evil Bong team is already sitting in Vegas. They could have some sort of crossover, Evil Bong versus the Cromley. So, let's get serious. Craiglon Incident was an interesting trilogy. I didn't know what I was getting into. I just saw this, I thought it looked interesting. I got in touch with the director, I got a hold of the trilogy films, and then I decided, okay, well, I'll just go and do the deep dive. And it has been an interesting experience. These times have been particularly tough, not just on us, on filmmakers, on everyone in general. And entertainment is all we've had during these tough times. To me, these films have a lot of heart in them and a lot of soul. And the third one is the icing on the cake that shows that even with these types of times, we can get better and do better when we work together. So, I'm going to leave us off with a little ditty, and it goes like this.
He's always interrupting my Judge Judy. They say, a special message, a special message. Oh, Judge Judy's on, okay? Gotta go. I'll talk to you later, all right? Yeah, well, probably not as amazing as the latest episode of Judge Judy, Parsons. It had the defendant and the plaintiff arguing over who should pay for the car accident. I just really love Judge Judy. It's my favorite show. I mean, maybe she can help put the aliens away in jail. I mean, when she pounds her fists, people listen. I mean, she's the top viewed, TV judge of all time. Parsons, can you wait a minute? I'm just about to start my Judge Judy marathon. Judge Judy, listen, I'll be back later. I got you recorded. I'm gonna check you out later, but I gotta go. I gotta save the world. Judge Judy, I'm gonna be a hero. Judge Judy, I'll be back in a second. I'm ready to watch you. I'm ready for a binge-a-thon, but I really need a shower. I'm really pretty ripe, Judge Judy, and I don't feel comfortable watching you so stinky, so I'll be right back. I gotta shower off. Team Judge Judy all the way! I know Judge Judy's gonna love me now. Judge Judy's in my future. I hope she's not married. It's Judge Judy time. Finally, Judge Judy. I'm sorry I've been missing you, but I am back.
Oh, enough about Judge Judy, Emil. This is some important stuff.